Howdy y'all. So in this video, this is about the part in the project where I had closed on my mobile home property, so my focus was more on working on that than working on the van. So I pretty much only, worked on the van 15-20 minutes here, maybe an hour there. So I didn't really set up any cameras or take videos before and after certain aspects of the project, but I did at least take some still photos. So in this one, it's going to be mainly a still picture and narration video. So sorry it's not as entertaining as other ones might be, but at least you get to see some of the project's process in the project here still. So here we go. And on this first one here, I'm just showing a picture of taking the back door off that was super rotted. And then it goes into one of the few videos on this one, just showing the awesome condition of it. Now it's super rotten down at the bottom, and the previous owner put a lot of duct tape and used a lot of caulking just to try to keep it watertight, but that didn't really do the trick because it kept disintegrating. But you can see here that it's kind of, if you've seen any of my mobile home videos, rotten there at the sill, just like my whole rim joists were on the mobile home. So nothing new to me, I suppose. But I did end up taking this all apart and setting it aside for a while, and I've gotten it mostly put back together now, almost a year later. I just need some finishing work because it's back on the van, but still not completed. And here I was just showing you how I cut in a hole for the outdoor shower box, and it's just roughed in, but there was a couple gouges on the inside of the fiberglass where they had done a repair, but I just wanted to get this in there before I finished up putting the framing on the inside and the insulation and then putting the tongue and groove in. So I thought I'd do this aspect of the project too. And then here is just a few slides of side-by-side comparison of the old bed frame that I used as a template and then created a new one using similar techniques. I don't have a wide crown staple gun, so it was just, small pin nails, screws, and glue. And then the old frame had two pretty long, narrow, long, skinny, whatever you want to call it, not very tall. Anyway, drawer accesses, and I decided not to do that on this one. I'll just have one near one end of the bed frame and then one on the corner where you first come in the door. And then you can kind of see that right there, that hole, as you see the rough in of it in the house there, or in the van, sorry. There'll be an access door there. So that's how that's going to work. And where the cabinets and the drawers are coming into the van to the right across from the bathroom, this is just the old frame, so I'm just using it as a template. And Penny's given me some advice on how she thinks I should rebuild it. So I did just end up kind of copying the right side, so you can see how I cut some new wood and clamped and glued it together. And that's basically so I can get that wedge at the top so it matches the roof line going up to the ceiling. Then we'll come over to on the floor there in that section, it's super rotten, and I'd taken out the rotten wood. So what I'm doing here is just cutting in a repair patch and using wood glue and just smearing it around there to get it ready to adhere. And one thing I like to do is take sawdust and wood glue and mix it in for like a non-toxic adhesive. So I ended up smearing that on the floor to fill any voids, and then I just took the repair patches, set them down on the ground there, and put some weight on it, let it sit there for a few days. And when I took it off, everything seemed to be adhering well because I'd walk on it and it wasn't lifting up. So hopefully, that works. Hope so. And then coming back underneath where the bed is, just showing some, where I gouged it all out and put a few smaller repair patches in there, and then use my wood glue and wood shaving trick to fill in the spaces. And then we'll go over to the driver's side, and this is a section under the where the refrigerator was, and then on the back side of that wheel well, between the bathroom and I'd say the oven stove section there, there's just a small patch that I needed to do, so there it is, all filled in. And you know, this little wood glue and wood shaving technique works pretty well. The only downside is when you start sanding it to smooth everything out, it really clogs up your sanding paper and pads pretty fast. So I go through a lot of those, but I think it's worth it. You know, just good to have it all sanded out, and then when I put the wheel well back on there, it'll be smooth so that no water can get up underneath there when it's splashing from the road. Then we'll just go, I only have one shot here of putting up the pine tongue and groove on the bulkhead section of the between the cabin and the cab. So then we go on here to some short video clips and pictures of where I was taking off the old running lights at the top of the van. The old ones are just, you know, incandescent. Some of them weren't working, but I ended up buying some LED running lights that are a lot brighter, and they just look nicer. And I wanted to paint the van, but before I got this done, but I decided we'll just get all this wiring done and the interior done before I end up painting it. But you can see here a few clips of the wiring, and I'll give you a breakdown of how fun that was here near the end of the video. But for now, I just give you a little shot of it. You know, okay, I got it roughed in, and here they are lighted up. So I just had to make sure everything was working before I, you know, screwed them back into place. So that was nice to see that they all worked, although the reverse lights don't work for some reason, but I'll give a breakdown of that as well here in a minute. But here is just the back door section, and above the back door, you know, as well as the framing around the sides being rotten, the piece up above here was trapped between, you know, some fiberglass on both sides, so it was really hard to get that rotten piece of wood out of there. And then just a little shot of a fresh piece going in there. It was not easy to get back into there, and I screwed and glued it in place. And then you can just see a few shots of clamping and liquid nailing the wood framing around the door on the inside as well. So I was pretty happy to get that aspect of the project done last summer as well. And here's a little breakdown of that. Little update on this back section here. I finally screwed in the outdoor shower box. I had it just taped up there, but I got it screwed in now. I still have to put butyl tape in there, so I'll take it off, reseal it. Yeah, I got the new brake light in there and the new reverse light. Finally anchored the wood frame here to the door with liquid nails on both sides. So new pieces of wood, and then I got a new piece up in here as well that was rotted out. So that's good. And then I'm gonna put some Roxol in there, and then, you know, obviously put the vapor barrier back over it, and then seal it up and put the rest of the tongue groove paneling up, and then that should be good to go. I'll give you a look at the brake lights that I did as well. There's the new brake light and reverse light. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this in LED, but it's still pretty cool. Plus, you know, it's just a reverse light. It doesn't work, but I think it's something to do with the wiring up at the steering column and not the way I did it, because it was the exact same wiring as the old ones that were burned out. And we'll be getting rid of these reflectors and just covering the screw hole with resin. So anyway, there's that. I've got a new brake light plate holder, or license plate holder and light in the mail. I did get new side markers down here, but you can see the hole is only this big, but I need it to be that big. But there's like a main bracket here, or like anchor right here, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the new ones I got, so might be refurbishing those and just sticking with them, so we shall see. Anyway, there you go. Oh yeah, still I did the wiring up here. The wiring on this side was a big pain because the wiring for the old marker light had fallen in and it was too short and I couldn't get them out, and when I even was able to pinch on them and pull, it wasn't long enough to get to the surface, so I had to dig out a bunch of insulation and put some hard wire through there and fish through, and then tie my new wires on and pull it through to up above the door there, and then run the new wires. And yeah, that was a big adventure, but we got it done. So we'll put the new markers up there and hopefully it'll look pretty smooth. Oh yeah, and I got this put in there too, this new porch light, so I just got to wire that in as well. So making progress. And then I just wanted to give you one shot of putting the Roxol insulation in the back panel here where the shower box is before I enclose it with more pine tongue and groove. And being that most of this work was done last summer, or this might have actually been summer of 2020, I believe, not 2021. So it was a hot summer, and I thought I'd just give you a shot of me chilling in my backyard swimming pool. So hope you enjoyed it. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.